Hey everyone, welcome to Reddit Readout. Today we are checking out True Off My Chest. Story 1. I don't feel comfortable near my best friend's younger brother. This is a first time using Reddit. I'm sorry if I did or said something wrong. I, 16F, have a best friend, 16F, who I've been with for years. She has 2 younger siblings. Since I was around 10 years old, I would go over to her apartment to hang out. Sometimes she would come over, but we would be at her apartment more often. There was never an issue, I always felt comfortable there. I go over almost weekly. We wouldn't leave her room much unless we needed to. Her younger brother, who is in middle school, I don't know his age, has always been in the living room or kitchen table whenever I go over. At first, I tried to start conversations with him, but he wouldn't respond, so I assumed he was a quiet kid. Recently, we've been baking whenever I go over. I'm a baker's daughter, so she would ask for my help at times. The living room and kitchen are near, so you can see almost directly into the kitchen if you're positioned right. My best friend and I would now normally hang out in the kitchen waiting for food to finish. I've felt something watching me while I was in the kitchen, but I just brushed it off, thinking it might be one of her dogs because they wait with us for the food. I thought there was nothing to worry about, but lately I've been getting into more feminine clothing. Bras with the hooks at the back, dresses, skirts, crop tops, etc. I would only wear baggy pants with baggy shirts whenever I would go over. I thought nothing wrong with my style of clothing because it's my clothes. But ever since I changed my style, he's been looking more, disturbed us and been around her room more. Last week, we were doing the pizza challenge and her mom and brother came in. Her mom would come in before, but never her brother. There was another time where her mom opened the door and her brother was there staring at me. 2 weeks ago, his friend was over and I was in her room. We were talking when we heard a knock on the door. I was confused, so I opened the door. She said that most likely it was her brother because he does that sometimes. I found it a bit odd because he's never done that when I was there. I just brushed it off. He has never been in or around her room as long as I was there. This came to my mind around October. For Halloween, we were supposed to be gothic vampires. I couldn't find a white dress till I found this one that looked like a summer dress. I liked it either way, but it showed basically all my cleavage. I thought no problem of it, and wore it as my Halloween costume. I had a sweater on as well to not show much. I went over to my best friend's house early because she was gonna help me with makeup and her mom was gonna take us to the movies. The time came to leave and her younger siblings came with us. I didn't know her younger siblings were gonna come with us, but I thought okay, since this isn't the first time this happened. We got in the car, her mom and younger sister at the front while I was on the left, my best friend in the middle and her younger brother on the right. I was showing her some funny videos I saw while her siblings were talking. I felt something watching me, but I was in a moving vehicle so it was weird. Then while I was texting my friend, I saw out of the corner of my eye, her brother was looking at me. My best friend was on her phone, so I'm not sure if she noticed. I just shook it off thinking there's probably something in my window that caught his eye. We arrived at the movies and my best friend and I got our tickets before her mom and younger siblings. Her brother tried to enter with us, but his mom called him back because he didn't have his ticket. We went to our seats before her mom and siblings. We were at the far right, we were on 2 seats separated from the other seats. I felt someone watching me throughout the movie, but there was a lot of people so I thought nothing. After the movie, we went to Taco Bell because we decided on it. My best friend and I were at a different table inches away from her mom and siblings. We ordered and waited. Her brother's back was facing us and we were on our phones showing each other stuff. I felt eyes on me and I caught him staring. I don't know if he noticed since it was from the corner of my eye, but he almost immediately turned around. Our food was ready so we went to pick it up. We ordered her sister a drink. I was confused because I heard her mom telling her brother to go get his fries. All the food were on the same tray, so I asked my friend about it and she said that it'll come out in a moment. I took a look at the receipt and it only showed one order of fries, not two. I offered to order it, but her mom said it's okay and that she will. I still felt being watched. At this point I was confused, so I just tried to go on my phone while eating. While her mom was walking back to their table, he looked at me then turned around. After eating, we headed to the car. They drove me home, and I walked to my doorstep. They always wait till I'm inside. I waved bye at them the moment I opened my door and I felt relaxed. I didn't feel watched anymore. It only happens nowadays where I feel someone watching me at her apartment. I never felt uncomfortable there before. I haven't told her yet. I don't know what to do. I don't like it when people stare at me for a long time. I just don't feel comfortable anymore. I just needed to tell someone. Story 2. I'm done with my roommate's self-centered behavior. I, 20F, share an apartment with two girls because of college. I've been living with one, 20F, of them for over a year, but about 2 months ago, a new girl, let's call her A, 23F, moved into our apartment. At first, everything seemed fine, both of us got along well with the new girl. A seemed really nice, talkative, and enjoyed spending time with both of us. However, as we got closer to her, we started noticing her self-centered behavior. At first, we tried not to pay much attention and let her be delulu, but there comes a point where you don't know how to respond to make her leave you alone. A is a girl who, despite trying to appear very confident, has very low self-esteem. I don't think she's ugly, but objectively speaking, she's not particularly attractive, and she doesn't have a wonderful personality. She's just an average girl, and that's okay. However, A constantly talks about how every guy, and even some girls, she talks to is flirting with her, how everyone wants to get into her pants, how many people constantly tell her how wonderful and beautiful she is, etc. As I said, her attitude didn't bother us at first, we simply listened to her stories, like how, for example, a classmate lent her a pen, and she took it as a sign that he wants to *ck her. But when every conversation she has throughout the day, every day, revolves around the same topic, it gets tiring. A couple of days ago, we went out partying, and we talked to one of her ex-flings, whom she wants to get involved with again. I simply acted politely, being friendly but nothing out of the ordinary. The next day, the guy started following me on Instagram out of nowhere and messaged me. I obviously kept A informed about what he was saying to me and my responses. I thought he was going to ask about A because he was interested in her, but he confessed that he didn't want anything with her, he only saw her as a friend, and that he found me very attractive. I showed it to A, and she literally lost it. She started saying that I was a selfish b*tch for talking to him, that I always only look out for myself, and that I probably started flirting with him, when it's verifiable through messages that it's not true. Later, she started being delulu again and convincing herself that deep down, he wanted to get her attention by flirting with me, and she couldn't accept the fact that he didn't want anything with her. I tried not to start a fight, but I had reached my limit, so I told her everything I had been keeping for months. I told her it was irritating that she believed she was the center of the universe, that it wasn't my fault she hated herself so much to think that everyone conspires against her and not everyone wants to date her. In fact, it's kind of suspicious that people only flirt with her when we're not around, and when we go out together, no one even looks in her direction. I know that some things were low blows on my part, but honestly, there have been so many situations like this that I was fed up and needed to let it out. Our other roommate is on my side, but A took the argument very seriously and now won't talk to me, so I wonder if it was too much, however you don't regret it. Story 3. I think I have repressed feelings for a friend and I don't know how I feel about it. I think I have repressed feelings for a friend. I, F21, have been thinking a lot about my life recently, especially in terms of dating. My longest and only relationship was 2 months and both of us broke up on amicable terms, but it got me thinking about a friend that I've known since middle school. We were in a friend group while we were in middle school and a close friend of mine told me that she always thought that we would end up together. Back then it was such a one-off comment that I never would consider it, and we sort of drifted apart during high school and he started dating another friend of mine for a while. I honestly don't know if they are still dating since my friend group from high school kinda disbanded after college. Recently I've been feeling gross and lonely, to be honest. I'm embarrassed by my lack of dating experience compared to the people around me, and it makes me feel like I'm just not really anyone's type. Even with my first relationship, both of us were very inexperienced and have never dated anyone before, and it just felt like we were just close friends that just hugged and held hands. I did enjoy my time with him, but it was so short that I'm having doubts of if that even counts as a relationship. Then I started to remember my friend from high school and what my friend said about us being a good together. I don't know if it's the combination of her words and my lack of dating ex-price and niche interest. I feel like I really should have asked him out in the past. But by now it's kinda too late. He's moved on with his life and so have I. I just wish that maybe I would have gotten some confirmation that maybe we had something going on or anything to denying it. Honestly, I'm not really good at romance or dating in general. It overwhelms me, and I'm just a pretty awkward person. I downloaded a dating app only to delete my profile after an hour because I got so scared. In general, I just wanted to post to vent my feelings and frustrations with this issue that's been bugging me for the past few months. Story 4. Today I lost my dad. I truly thought we'd have more time. What I would give to rewind to the start of the day, when he was still alive. Though, I doubt I'd be able to do anything except exist with the knowledge that my dad was still living, breathing. But that would still be enough. When I got home from school, it was just another ordinary day. A day with classes and friends, schoolwork, and whatnot. My mom was still at work. I was alone. At 4:48 p.m., I'd receive a call from my mom. She would say that my dad was in critical condition, and that this day might be his last. It worried me, of course. But my dad had been transferred back and forth from the hospital to a nursing home, his health already deteriorating rapidly. But it had been that way for a long time, now. Why would today be any different? We'd received similar calls prior to this one, all saying that my dad's health was in terrible shape. We'd gotten used to it. But today seemed different. It felt different. And it was. At 6:46 p.m., my mom would walk into my room in tears. I hadn't seen her like that in a long time. My mom, such a strong and stern woman. But I knew. I knew what the next words that would come out of her mouth would be. And we held each other, crying. At 7:03 p.m., we'd leave for the hospital to see him for one last time. Inside the car, it was silent, though many times broken by the sounds of sniffling and grief. Outside the car, families were walking along the sidewalks in costumes, carrying buckets of candy. I had a fleeting thought that found it humorous. Humorous that while other families would spend Halloween together, laughing and ringing doorbells, my family would be permanently missing a core member, shattered forever. At 7:28 p.m., we'd finally arrive at the hospital, where we would check in with the front desk and ride the elevator up to the 4th floor. Where we would walk down the long corridors of the hospital hallways until we finally reached room 412A. Dad. I didn't know what to expect. I had never seen a dead body before. I had never experienced a death in my family. But I wish someone, anyone, would have warned me. I wish someone would have warned me of the feelings I'd experience when stepping into that hospital room for the first time. I wish someone would have warned me of how I'd feel when I'd lay my eyes on the deceased body of my dad. I wish someone would have warned me of how pale and fragile the dead look. No one warned me of the growing ache in my chest, hearing my mom sobbing and wailing, gently shaking my dad's hand, begging, "Please wake up." No one warned me of how much I'd cry seeing her like that. No one warned me of how much I would wish my dad would wake up, 2. Before, death was only a concept to me. I was aware of it, knew it existed, how much it hurt people. How it was the only thing all living beings had in common. But I never understood how helpless it makes you feel. I never understood how such grief could overwhelm you. I never understood how much it hurts, having to feel the finality of everything settling upon you. You'll never see them again. What once was a living, breathing human is now nothing more than a lifeless husk. They won't look at you anymore. They aren't the same person anymore. They aren't a person anymore. I once heard that the dead look like they're sleeping. And God, it was true. He looked like he was simply sleeping. That he would wake up any second from my mom's shaking and tears. I wanted to believe it. I wanted to believe that he could wake up any second, that he'd give a cough and open his eyes. But the perfect stillness of his body and the lack of his chest rising and falling with every breath told me everything I needed to know. Sometimes, from a trick of the light or maybe from our movements, something would slightly move. My mom, still clinging on to hope, would grab me and ask, "Is he moving?" I'd have to tell her that, no, he really was gone. And it broke my heart a little more each time. I never had a great father-daughter relationship with my dad. He was emotionally unavailable almost my entire life. But he was still my dad. We didn't make too many memories together, but I knew that he did love me, in his own way. And in a way, that was enough. Even though him and my mom would argue every single day without fail, he was still a part of our family. His health started deteriorating majorly in March of 2020, right before COVID would hit. 4 months, he'd stay in the ER. My mom and I would visit him. Only her and I. We don't have a big family, you see. It was only us 3. Over time, I got used to it. I got used to seeing him lying in a hospital bed, with so many tubes sticking out of him. I got used to seeing his skinny and fragile body, his sickly face. I got used to visiting him in the nursing home when he was discharged from the ER, got used to helping my mom take care of him when we did visit. It seemed like a new normal. But it only lasted for about 6 months. 6 months until my dad would pass away. I don't know if I have any regrets. Maybe in 10 years, I'd regret not touching him and feeling his cold skin on mine. Maybe in 15 years, I'd regret not properly saying goodbye to him when I had the chance. But right now, all I hope is that he passed on painlessly, with knowledge that his family did love him, flawed as he was. That we loved him so much. That we still do. From the very first day I was born to now, I spent 16 years of my life with him. But 16 years, even if it was my entire life on this planet so far, still feels so short. I'm sorry, Dad. I hope that wherever you are, wherever you end up, you aren't suffering in pain anymore. Your family will always remember you. I will always remember you. I wish I could say more, but I only have my feelings to offer. Rest in peace. That's all for today. Please don't forget to like and subscribe.